Hey guys, this is your friend Kajal and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this tutorial, you will going to learn about how to scrape numerous number of websites using Python. So if you are a beginner to Python and if you belongs to non-technical background and non-programming background, I would suggest you to wait for my next tutorial in which I will going to cover the second part of this series in which I will going to tell you how to scrape numerous websites using software. So you are not needed with any programming language background, but I would suggest you to focus on this tutorial as well, because it isn't that difficult to scrape numerous websites using Python. So you just need to follow along with me, and at the end of this tutorial you will be very good at scraping different websites. So before I start with explaining my Python script to you, if you haven't installed Anaconda distribution yet, first go to install that Anaconda distribution, and I will provide the download link in the description below, so you can download it from there and use Jupyter as your Python IDE to follow along with me and for better interaction. And if you are a beginner, then I would suggest you to use that only. Before I get started with it, first step is to install these necessary packages. First is Beautiful Soup 4, which is very important package for parsing HTML and XML document of any website into your Python IDE. And the second module is request module. So we will install it using this following command. So request module is basically help us to get HTTP request from the server. We will use a get function to get those requests, and since I have already installed these packages, I am getting output like requirement already satisfied. Next step is to import these libraries. The most important one is this Beautiful Soup. As I mentioned before, it is the only library that we will use to parse HTML and XML document into our Python IDE. So this is the most important tool in Python for scraping purpose. And next one is this request module, which is very helpful in downloading the HTML content of your website that you want to scrape. So I will explain every bit of it in a next line of code with the use cases of these libraries. So don't worry about it now. And yes, so before I go in the depth, first focus on these outer for loops that I have written here, this one and that one. So the first outer for loop, so it is basically iterating over pages from page 1 to the last page that we have mentioned here. So I am giving value this pages to get variable as 5. So it will go from page number 1 to 6 and retrieve all the information contained on that page and return us with the details of every news article listed on pages from 1 to 5. So for better understanding, let's demonstrate this. Just copy paste this URL from there up to this point. Control C, open in a new tab. Control V. So this is how my web page looks like. So it is contained with numerous kind of news articles, and here what we are demonstrating is it is going from page 1 to 6 pages, since I have given this as a 5 as a value. So it will go from page 1 to 6, and what I have written here is basically I am mentioning that I am mentioning a specified URL for that particular page. Like for an instance, if I write this here, page equals to 1, so it will open up page 1 for me, and same as this, if I change this to page number 2, it will open up page number 2 for me, like this. If I go to next, it will open up page number 3 for me. So that's how we are iterating over this URL. So it's very simple. Now the next very important thing that you have to focus on, this is statement where we are requesting HTTP where we are requesting HTML content to download from the website. So we just pass this URL as an argument to this get function, and we are sending HTTP request to that website server, and getting HTML content to be downloaded, to be saved in this particular object, in this particular response object. So to see if you have downloaded that HTML content successfully or not, just type this following command into your IDE, status code. So after running this command, if you are getting output with value of 200, the 200 value means that it signifies that it is okay, means you have downloaded the HTML content successfully. So this is how you check that if it works properly or not. So for now, just delete that. And since it is a suspicious command and it might get blown up if something goes wrong, so we will just put it in a try except block. So if something goes wrong in this particular line of code, so it will return a exception. As I specified already, time is a library that allows us to work upon time. So we are using here sleep function of time module. So the two value that we are passing through this function as an argument specifies that it will delay request time by 2 seconds. So if you guys don't want yourself to get blocked from any particular website that you are scraping, I must suggest you to use to include this statement to your web scraping script. It will save you from getting blocked from any website, because the continuous request that you are sending to any website using this automating process, so what it will do is it will automatically burden that website server. So there are chances to get blocked from that particular website. So I must suggest you to include this particular statement in your web scraping script. Let's move on to our next statement. That is, what we are doing here is we are passing our HTML content that we have downloaded in our page response object using the request module. So this is our HTML, this response object. This contains our HTML content, and we are parsing this HTML content using Beautiful Soup and using our HTML parser. So there are two HTML parser in documentation of Beautiful Soup that you can use. So I'm using here HTML.parser. You can use another one which is HTML5lib. It basically depends upon you, whatever you want to do. So you can use that too. And this Beautiful Soup library will parse HTML content of this page to using this HTML.parser to this SOAP response object, so that we can access any so that we can able to locate any tags, any attributes and its elements on a website. So it is very helpful to locate those tags and attributes, to retrieve text from the website. It is very, very useful. Now next step, so before I talk about this statement, I first tell you about two functions that we are going to use up from this point to this point. So there are two functions mainly that we are using here to find attributes from HTML content. So first function is find all function. So find all function, what it will do is it will locate every tag with that same tag that we are passing to it. It will locate every tag like that on your website. And what simply find function will do, it will return you with the value of first occurrence of that tag that you have passed into that function. So let's, for instance, let's inspect this line. How did I write this here? So go to your website and press Ctrl plus Shift plus I to open up with your inspect window. Then to inspect any element on your web page, just press Ctrl plus Shift plus C, and you are ready to select any element on this web page. And as you can see, when I am moving on to these details or these items on my web page, the source code of HTML is changing dynamically, just like this, right? So if I want to select news articles, like I want every news article listed on this page, so what I will do, I will probably select the whole section of particular news article. So here I am selecting one news article like this. As you can see, on selecting this, not this, as you can see on selecting this, you are finding that this particular news article is contained in this li tag. And as like this news article, every news article is contained in this li tag. So what we have to do is, now you are able to, I hope you are able to understand what I am trying to explain you. That first thing is to locate your items that you want to scrape from your website and see in which divisions, in which tags they are contained within. So as we can see, we want these news articles, and these news articles is contained within this li tag, and all of the news articles are contained within li tag. So what we have to do is, we have to find all li tags that share similar properties, that share similar attributes as I mentioned here, as I specified here. Because as you can see, the attribute class for each and every news article is same. So that's what I have written here. So it will return us with the value of all the links specified on a one page, all the links of the news article specified on a one page. So on running this statement, this particular statement, print length of links, we will get output of links, that how many links are there on one page, on particular one page. So as you can see, every page contains 30 news articles in total, right? As you can see here, so it is returning us with the value of 30. So every page of this website contains 30 news articles in total. Now let's move on to our next code of statement. So it is basically, we are writing to a file. So it is very good practice to include this in your web scraping script. If you want to save your data set in your machine outside this environment, so it is very important. Like this, unlike this, you can use another function too, to convert your data set, or to convert your data frame to CSV file using this toCSV function. But there is some drawbacks of using this, because as you open up this CSV file that is converted from data frame using toCSV function, you will see some ambiguous data, and that is of no need to you, and that is of no concern to you, and you have to even write multiple lines of code to you know to make your data set clean. So I will not recommend you to use that. Instead of that simple 2 to 3 lines, I would recommend you to write a lengthy code like this, because it works very well, since it automatically save your .csv file in the directory where your .py file is already saved. So you don't have to worry about the location, and you don't have to specify where would be the location of this CSV file would be. So it is so simple to use and to make your CSV file from your Jupyter IDE. So I would recommend you to use that only, and it is very simple. What we did here is we just give our file name as some using .csv extension, and open that file into in a writing mode, and then provide it with a header section, means what kind of labels would I want to what kind of labels I want to show up in my CSV Excel sheet. So that's this header section specify that. So moving on to our next statement. So here this inner for loop, what this inner for loop is doing. So we are using this inner for loop, we are iterating over every link specified on the particular web page. So let's demonstrate how we will going to retrieve these content, statement, link, date, source, label. So these are the attributes that I am going to scrape from our website. So let's first demonstrate how to do that. So the first attribute that we're going to scrape is the statement of the news article. So I will going to extract every statement of the news article from this page, from every page up till 5th page. So second attribute is to retrieve link of this news article, and every news article listed on this page up till 5th page. Then third is date only up to this point, and the fourth attribute is to extract this source of this news article, and the fifth attribute is to extract the text of this image, that is label of this news article, that what it signifies, it is true news or a false or a mostly false. So there are 5 or 6 labels specified in this website that I wanted to extract from this image. So how to do that? Well, so first of all, when we are extracting our statement, just inspect that statement element from your web page, and go to your inspect window and look at its HTML source code. How is it looking like? So just go to inspect the web page, or it is not selected, and select that and see in which tags it is contained within. So as you can see from my code, it is contained within div tag, and attributes are specified with the class name statement code, and we want to extract its text only. So how to go about that? So as we can see, this is a tag in which it is contained within. So we have specified, we have passed this tag as an argument to find function, and then we are extracting the text of this particular division. So we don't need we don't need link of this particular statement. What we actually want to extract is the text of this news article. So using dot text will do a work for that. So it will do a thing for us. It will return us with the value of text of that statement. Now let's move on to our next attribute, that is link. So using find function, we first find the first find the division. Since I have already looked for the division or in my previous step, so it is same for this too. So it is contained within this division tag, and attributes are this only, and you can locate this anchor tag to retrieve its link. So dot find a will do a work for you, and to get with the value of link, you have to use these square brackets, and within that square brackets you have to specify this href value. And dot strip function will strip any kind of /n or /date it may contain. So any kind of extra spaces or new lines it will strip out. So let's move on to our next attribute, that is date. So how do we going to do that? So let's inspect this element, go to the website and inspect this element. So if we can't just choose to inspect on date only, so we have to select whole of the text, but we can do indexing to select what we want. So here it is contained within footer tag, and let's see for the outermost tag in which it is contained, because it must be identified by the li tag to be considered in that. So this is the outermost tag in which it is contained, right? So here what we have is specified division and statement body. So here we are taking this, right? And under this division tag we have to find this footer, and no need to specify any class attribute for it. Just find this footer attribute, just find this footer tag, and just extract the text of this. So we are specifying indexing from backside, because as we can see this statement is changing for all of the news articles, and its length is dynamic and it's changing continuously, and it isn't same. So we can't apply indexing as such, but we can do indexing from the backside, since the date since the text containing date is listed at the suffix. So we just and it is of the same length for all of the news articles. So we can apply indexing on date on the text that contains date only, and since we can see it is from -1 to -14, it is its length. So we just specified it with the indexing, and dot strip will here is it isn't necessary to use this dot strip function, but it's necessary. So I will show you why is it necessary to use dot strip function here. So for now just don't use it here, so it is not required. Because now let's move on to our next attribute. So we are finding source. So let's inspecting this attribute. So we want to extract the text of this particular element. So let's see where it lies. So it is basically text, or text lies within this anchor tag, right? So just find this outer division tag, and then find this anchor tag, and then extract the text of this anchor tag using a dot text, and dot strip will also not required here. So you can specify dot strip for every attribute, and you can choose not to specify. It is as per your need. You can choose to apply that after looking at your data set. If it contains with the /n or /t with extra spaces or new lines, then you can choose to apply that strip function here. Otherwise it is up to you if you want to or not. Now let's move on to our last attribute, that is label. So how So here the label text that we want to extract is specified in this image attribute. So let's see how we are going to do that, because here we will use a little bit different trick to extract the content, extract the text from it. So first see where this so what we want to extract is this value which is mentioned here. So this is a barely true value that is mentioned here. So where it actually lies in, it is a value contained in alt attribute of image tag. So what we have to find is image tag. Now see where this image tag lies in. So just have a look at the division tag in which we can see our image tag. So this division will work, so because it is containing our image too. So just find this that division tag first, then find your image tag first, then using dot get function and passing alt as an attribute, you can easily extract your value what you want to extract. So just have a look at it. So first we find a outermost division tag and specify its attribute, and then find image tag and specify its attribute too, and then using dot get alt function we can easily extract our value of labels that we want to extract. Now I'm appending all of the content of all of the details that I have scraped for particular news article into this empty list that I have already initialized using empty brackets here. So I'm just appending whatever I have scraped till now. So it will append for all the links, it will append all the values, all the details of all the links, and after that we are writing to our file that we have opened earlier. So we are just, since it is a comma separated value file, since we have specified it with a .csv extension, so it might possible that for comma values it might possible that it will return with some ambiguous data. So it is a best practice to replace this comma with some other special characters that you think are not that much used in your content. So I am replacing this comma value with this. So when you open your Excel sheet, you must ensure that you will replace this special character with comma again, so that your values, so that it will convert into the original format. So this is a good practice to replace replace comma from your CSV file while writing to it with some any other specified special characters. Now coming out of this for loop, we will extend every frame to this upper frame. Means we are extending details of every news article listed on one page to this empty list, and doing this practice for all the pages on which we are iterating on. So moving get outside from this for loop too, and don't forget to close your file that you have opened already, because this is I say in my practice too that most of the people forget to do so. So this is a good so don't ever forget to close your file with using this command f.close. Now let's move on to our next step, which is visualizing dataset using pandas data frame. So it is a very useful tool for manipulation and analysis purpose. Here we are using it for visualizing purpose, and so I'm just passing this upper frame list as one argument to it, and second argument is columns specified here. Since I want to look at my dataset column as a statement, link, date, source, label, I am specifying that columns value column name should be like this. So have a look at this data set now. As you can see in this data set that that slash n are coming in front of the statement that I have extracted. So it is coming because we haven't used dot strip function. That's why I was emphasizing upon it so much. So just use this strip function so that you wouldn't get those extra spaces. And just a minute. So namespace is not defined. Just a minute. So that's why I was emphasizing on that part, because it is very good practice to include this strip function while scraping, so that it will reduce your work to the half. You wouldn't require with any extra work to clean your text. So it is very useful in that case. And if you are done with it, let's move on to our next step, which is to convert data frame to CSV file. So as I have mentioned earlier, that I wouldn't recommend you to use that just because of it's easy to use, and just because of its simple line of code, because it will return you with a value of ambiguous data set when you open this CSV file in your Excel sheet. So the syntax is same, is very easy. When you have done with creating your data frame, so data is your data frame, and so you can just simply convert that data frame using dot operator to CSV file using .csv function, and specify that CSV file name here, and must apply this index equals to false and encoding equals to UTF-8 to convert data frame to CSV file. And to just have a look at it after converting it, you can easily call it in your Jupyter notebook and read it using read CSV. So have a look at this. So our source is also containing /n. So just apply strip function here too. And here too. Now run this. So this is all for now. As you can say, it isn't that difficult as I have told you earlier, because it's just some libraries and functions in Python that you should be familiar with. And if you are just a beginner in Python, then you can go through the documentation of Beautifulsoft to better understand it. And it isn't that difficult, because we are not using that much Python tools here. We just need to know about the HTML code, that what I have written here, and how to inspect elements from any website. Then you are all done with your web scraping. And I hope after this tutorial you will be going to do scraping on your own and make your own web scraper. So if you have any queries, any kind of queries, from basic to basic, from complex ones or complex ones to simple ones, or any kind of queries regarding this content, you can just put those queries in a comment box, and I will try my best to reach out to you guys and help you out with those queries. And if you have any suggestions regarding this content and how I should get improved with myself, so those suggestions are most welcome. And you can, if you like this content and if you found this useful and informative for you, so please like and subscribe this channel to get more of it, to hear more from me. And if you are a beginner and don't want to use any programming language to scrape a website, so my next tutorial is just for you. So up till that, wait for it and stay tuned.